Okay, I just wanted to put a quick video out there on sort of my tips and tricks for getting to celestial, which I still feel like I could climb higher. My win rate overall has been really positive in a lot of these games. I just the time to do that and to do YouTube stuff and work is just extremely limited. So still, I wanted to give you sort of the things that I've sort of observed and the things that I did to try and like help myself rank up that I think might be helpful to you. Um, and I'll say that like I have account 3 accounts in Celestial. Uh, one was playing with groups. Another one was solo queue first, and then the last one was playing heroes strictly for the reason of making YouTube videos, like learning new heroes and stuff that I hadn't touched. So on that account, you're not going to see any Psylocke, Rocket, or Magneto. And one of the things that I observed, uh, especially playing all roles, because like on my main accounts, I play a lot of Psylocke, so I didn't want to default to just playing DPS on the other account. So I ended up playing a lot more support, and uh, Cloak and Dagger was the one that carried me. I would say on this account from unranked all the way up until I think like diamond for the most part. You know, playing supports, especially with Cloak and Dagger, she was incredibly powerful to me. It made the game almost much easier than it was playing DPS. And that being said, the one that was probably the easiest was somehow Captain America, something I didn't expect. Uh, I know that a lot of people are going to think that like, oh, it's a game, it's a shooter, like you have to have good aim in order to win games. But the truth is that you know, what wins games isn't aim, it's winning the objective and controlling the objective. And I found that Cap is amazing at controlling the objective and controlling space and dictating the pace of the game that like I didn't realize how much easier it was to win a game as Cap than it was as playing Psylocke and getting a bunch of kills. I could be playing Psylocke and get, you know, 50 kills and 36 final blows and lose the game because of the fact that in terms of controlling the space or controlling the objective or having control of the objective just wasn't in entirely in my control. And that's something that Captain America was great at. Uh so yeah, oddly enough, it was probably easier for me to climb as both support and tank than it was as DPS. Uh And yeah, so and that being said, like the reason why is because of the fact that the macro knowledge of the game, the stuff that I preach about in all my videos, the stuff that I try to teach you guys is like understanding how to control that objective, understanding when to go in and when to back out is so incredibly crucial. And knowing to stay alive in order to control that objective is absolutely monumental. Like that will win you far more games than if you specifically are just trying to get a bunch of kills, right? A lot of times as Cap, you'll see, like this one, I'm 13 and 8. Um, I didn't do a whole lot in terms of getting kills, but like it's still 1-1-0. All I did was make sure that that payload didn't move forward. That was my job, and I did so successfully. But yeah, so focus on that macro knowledge. That's what I'm trying to teach you in all my videos. That's what I'm trying to always educate you on about having good positioning, about trying to stay alive, about controlling the objective, backing out, when to go in, like all that stuff will carry you in your games far more than just trying to make sure you have perfect aim. Because it doesn't matter if you're really good at getting kills if you get them at the wrong times. So yeah, focus on that macro knowledge. The other thing I'd say is one of the observations I had, and this might be entirely just coincidence, but like the games I played really late at night were the worst. There's a lot more people throwing, a lot more people trolling, and I just didn't understand, what was going on. I don't blame inflation or anything like that because other hours or other times of the day that like I played was fine. When would take a break to play games in the middle of the day on the weekday, my games were actually a lot better. I think what people are confusing as inflation or players being where they shouldn't be is just you have players who are inconsistent or bad or just kind of generally speaking assholes. And uh that, you confuse that people confuse that with um some sort of conspiracy theory, but the truth is that for whatever reason I just didn't have very good games late at night or on the weekends, so I tried to avoid that. um the other thing I noticed is that this is my account where I was grouping with friends for the most part, and uh grouping's more difficult if you're focusing on, if you just want to climb. If you just want to focus on climbing, grouping is harder because you're no longer the only consistent factor. There's multiple consistent factors, and you don't have control over those. So, as in all rank games, if you want to climb, and that's your only goal is ranking up, then solo queue is the way to go. However, I will say that the games I played with my friends were far more fun than the games I played solo queue. Um, it's just a better experience overall than just doing it by yourself. So, do what you will with that information. Um, pick whichever one sounds more enjoyable to you, or whichever one fits your goal, I should say. Um, the other thing is, playing this account where I was specifically learning only new heroes and just literally learning them, on the fly as I went. Um, I learned after revisiting heroes that I didn't think I enjoyed, that I I actually carry really well with some of them, and I like a lot more heroes that I didn't really fully understand before. Uh, I knew that coming into this one, I was going to try Doctor Strange out. I knew coming into this one, I was going to, um, learn more on this account, and I learned that Doctor Strange was one that I could play, but I didn't really find him to be all that fun and interesting. And Captain America, who when I first played the game, I originally didn't like and I didn't understand. I was kind of disappointed because I really love Captain America. When I came back to him and I tried him again, I just realized how much fun he was. This hero that I didn't think much of, multiple times that I didn't think I would end up playing or end up liking, ended up being one of my favorite heroes to play. Like, and ended up being one of the ones that I climbed the easiest with. Like, this is me solo. Uh, in comp playing Captain America, doing better than me playing Psylocke, which is crazy. Uh, but yeah, like it was far more successful, far more effective for me to play Captain America than it was for me to play Psylocke any day. And I wouldn't have discovered that had I not gone back and revisited some of these heroes I didn't think I was going to enjoy. So don't be afraid to, take a break, take a step back, and maybe, you know, go into quick play or something. Try some heroes out that you haven't touched in a while, and just play around. Not once you've kind of already sort of mastered one hero, maybe step out of your comfort zone and see if there's other heroes and stuff whatnot that you might enjoy, because you might learn that even though you love playing one hero, you might be carrying a lot harder on another. Um, the other thing is to focus on the objectives and not the kills. Far too many times I see people who are focused on the stats. I have this much damage. I have this much healing. Or I have this many KOs. And the majority of the games that I won as Captain America, like this year, I'm 6-1, right? Um, I carried the game just by making sure that I didn't die and I held the point. Like look at the maps that are convoy maps, right? The maps that are convoy maps for me as Cap, I generally end up winning or holding really really well, and it's because of the fact that I can control that objective. I wasn't focused on trying to get a bunch of kills. I was just trying to focus on holding control of that objective and holding that space. That understanding of focusing on the objective and, why you need to hold it just matters so much, and, I think people just generally forget that, but yeah, a lot of people are focused on kills. When I play Captain America, I am only focused on making sure that I just have control over that objective as long as I can. The other thing is do not give up and surrender. There's so many games I've played where people wanted to give up and wanted to surrender, and I said no, and we would end up pulling out a win. Like, the amount of times people think that a game is over when it's just started is crazy. This last one, which was a win, was wild because it really did seem like we were gonna lose with how badly we were getting stomped on offense, and then we ended up full holding them on the first point. Like, and there's other games too where it's just like I so many times people were just like willing to give up, willing to surrender. And because me and my friends would never surrender, we would always end up pulling out some wins that, a lot of people wouldn't have expected, just through the last minute, by changing some things around or just regaining our momentum. Like, these games are very snowbally. At any point in time, your team could regain momentum, make a team swap, or do something. People could switch up roles, and the game can be winnable, right? Don't give up on your games uh, y- just because you had a rough start or just because it seems impossible to win. There's, the first video that ever got people attracted to this channel, thanks to Shadi, was one where you, by any means, most people would have thought that we were going to lose that game and and it ended up being a huge comeback. You can always bring it back in these games. So don't give up on these games. Don't lose out on your SR just because of the fact that, someone had a bad start. Um and on that also, like, communication is huge. I am always communicating in games in the same way that I was communicating in Overwatch. Uh I had games where I think it was this one. Yeah, 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 this one. I was telling my Star Lord, I was like, "Hey, hey, hey, I know that enemy support. Uh, I know that enemy cloak has her ult." I was like, "Whatever you do, do not hit your ult, Star Lord." I was like, "I'll ult first, and that will motivate her to use her ult. And immediately after it runs out, you ult and I'll pocket you." Right? And without even a problem with it, because of the fact that I communicated that as we were coming back to retake the point, I ulted, I went out on point like clockwork. Their cloak ulted. And I got myself to a safe position, finding my Star Lord in the air. And once he saw that the ult was gonna run out, he ulted. I started just pumping him full of heals, and he wiped the team, and we won the game. Like, communication on these games is so huge. The amount of times I'm saying, "Hey, it's fine. Just, don't use your alts. Back up, regroup. We'll retake it with ult advantage. Like, it's not a big deal to lose the objective now. Like, they used 3 alts, 4 alts to stop us. We're gonna have 5 coming back. Like, we'll be fine. So just everyone chill out, back up. We're still golden here. Like, we lost the objective temporarily, but we have the advantage to take it back quickly." So, communication is key. And I understand people are awful in voice chat. I get tilted sometimes. I end up crashing out on people too. I am not perfect, but if people are bad or people are obnoxious, mute them. Mute them, voice and text. Some people are beyond saving. Just mute them right away. Um, and that being said, focus on improving. Focus on, asking yourself, taking chances, taking risks, and then asking yourself, why didn't that work? Right? When you go out and you alt and you end up getting killed in your alt, ask yourself, well, what could I have done to avoid that and make it easier? What could I have done to make sure I stay alive a little bit longer? And just focus on trying to figure out where you can improve because of the fact that maybe it's as simple as just communicating beforehand and telling your team like, "Hey, I'm going to alt first, and try and get some picks. Maybe someone could pocket and heal me during that time." Or, "Hey, Magneto, do you have bubble or something so I can engage?" Like, or even just saying like, "Oh, maybe I just would have targeted that person first instead of this person with my alt. I might have been, it might have been a win." Always be asking yourself, "Where can I improve? What can I do better?" Because the amount of talk that I've seen in the online space of Marvel Rivals saying like, "Oh, inflation is so bad, like you can't carry, like these games are impossible because they're so coin flippy." Like, it's not inflation. Like, hero-based shooters are extremely snowbally by nature, and that's how they're designed, right? Because the moment that you lose one person, your team starts to fall like dominoes, which is the reason why I stress so much of the importance of staying alive in these games. Like, it is so monumentally important that you stay alive because if you stay alive, you can pull resources, you can um still pull attention, you can help your team, like, if you die, you put your team in an extreme disadvantage, and that snowbally effect then just tends to topple your whole team over. A lot of the ways that I carried in my games was specifically by just understanding that snowballing nature and not falling for that trap, right? It's not that games are coin flippy as you get higher in rank. Uh, it's that as you get higher in rank, a single mistake will punish you so bad that if you don't know how to regain that momentum, you're going to lose the game, right? But one thing I want you to notice that's true for um, across all the different times that I've played and the different ways that I've played, no matter what, whether it was uh whether it was on heroes that I knew, whether it was solo or whether it was in a group, you can look as like my average deaths are always extremely low. Like I average maybe, like 5 deaths a game on average, is usually 5 or 6 deaths a game. Like that to me is how I win games. I just stay alive. I don't have to have perfect aim. I'm not playing Hella. I'm not playing Bucky. I'm not playing Wolverine, right? I'm playing heroes that generally don't get banned, right? So, it this game is not about uh and all hero-based shooters are not about having this perfect godlike aim, right? And it's not about having, you know, uh 8 hours a day to grind or that like, hundreds of games or something behind your belt or whatever. Like, I uh you can climb you can climb at your own pace. You can climb as the season progresses. There's nothing holding you back. But the snowballing nature of these games might lead you to believe that it's a coin toss, but it really isn't. It's just that as you climb, the higher that you get, a single mistake from your end might decide whether or not you win or lose that game. And there are lots of games out there. Like I've said before, like there are lots of games that my team was for sure under the belief that we were going to lose. And because of the fact that I stuck it out, we ended up pulling out a win. Like there's so many games like that that happen. And I understand just like, hey, it's cool. Like we'll mix it up. We'll regroup as six and we'll try to fight again. Cause so far we just haven't had a team fight. Once we have a team fight, it'll get better. Never give up on your games. You know, uh, understand that like as you climb higher, you cannot be making mistakes as often anymore. But yeah, that being said, I think that's all I got to say for this. I definitely learned a lot through the different ways that I played through ranks. I've really enjoyed the process of learning, and I definitely feel like, I found some cool people to group with that I'll probably climb some more with, and yeah, I'll try to keep making some more YouTube videos, but I don't want you to sit there and ever think to yourself that, games are impossible or that, believe in this sort of like, "Oh, I need to play the meta heroes," or "I need to, uh, or the game is like rigged against me." Like that stuff just isn't true. Like you don't have to play the meta heroes. You don't have to play, you don't have to play with groups. Like you don't. There is no way that you have to play. I want you to play the game your way. Find the heroes that you enjoy. Find your play style, whether it be Scarlet Witch or Captain America or Hela or Wolverine. Play the way that you want to play. Because at the end of the day, with these types of games, it's not about the hero that you play. It's about the person who's playing that hero and finding your play style to do that. Um, I am not a huge assassin character with Captain America, but I find him fun because of the fact that he just controls the objective super well. That's my play style. That's what I discovered through playing, and it's great because he's almost never banned. And if he is banned, I know it's because people are are using the tracker and specifically targeting me. Um, but yeah, like these games are all about your way of playing. Like there is no secret in terms of a hero to pick. There is no, you know, uh magical way to get godlike aim and eventually just carry all your games. Like it's not about that. It just play your way. Don't listen to tier lists. Don't listen to this super pro stuff. Like I if you can climb up 98% of the way into the top 2% of the player base, uh, then you can start to worry about who happens to be in like the pro scene and the pro picks and who's meta. But until you get anywhere close to that, don't even bother. Just play the game your way and focus on the fundamentals. Focus on the macro strategies and understanding how to play the game, because that's going to be what wins you your games. And yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on the matter, but yeah, this was really fun. I learned a lot, and it was great to make stuff for YouTube for you guys, and I hope uh I hope you found this educational, or I hope you found this helpful. And yeah, I'll try to use some of these games to create some more content for you guys. But yeah, that's all I got to say for now. Thanks for watching.